Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of AMsportsBALLERS. I'm your host Martin Gustrud, and with me as always Sigurd is not here today. He's MIA, missing in action. Don't know where he is. He was supposed to be here. Sigurd, you were supposed to be here. But as a backup, we got Andreas Yager as a chief support manager, as you can see there. What's up, Andreas?
Yes,
how you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Martin? Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's too bad Sigurd couldn't join us today, but I'm always up to step in as a reinforcement. Some of you guys might recognize me. I've been commentating a few games this year, most recently the Lillestrøm versus Kristiansand game. So I've been commentating some Norwegian games and also the Oslo Vikings games.
Yeah, I was going to say
Some of you might have seen me on there.
Even though you might not know the name Andreas Yager, you probably heard his voice because you have been commentating a few games this year, actually. I think it's like 4 games, right?
I think I might be up at 5 or 6 by now, actually. 5, I think I have now.
Yeah, and you're going to do the Oslo Vikings game next Saturday, or in 2 weeks, and you're going to do a semi-final.
That's right, the 8th.
Right?
Yeah, that sounds right. Then that's going to be Eidsvoll versus Lillestrøm. It's going to be a good game, I hope.
Yeah, I think even better, the one in Kristiansand. But versus the Trolls. So, quick intro to this episode. Playoffs, man. We are here. Playoff is next time you see a football game, it's a playoff game. So we're gonna do a week 6 recap. We do have 3 ballers. I might hold that a little bit in case Sigurd shows up later, because I know he loves 3 ballers, so I'm gonna give him an extra chance to be a part of that one. And also later this episode we got the sports manager for American football in Norway, Jørgen Benestad-Johansen, dropping by in about 20 minutes, actually, in about 20 minutes. So before that, let's cover the league a little bit, Andreas. Last week,
yes, sir.
Week 6.
Where do you want to start?
We had Eidsvoll versus Trolls. Did you see that game?
I followed it a bit. I haven't caught the replay, and I was of course commentating the Kristiansand Lillestrøm game that was at the same time. But we were, of course, whenever we had some downtime in the stream, we were following your stream. So mostly I was following the score. But Eidsvoll, they came back.
It looked scary for a minute. Trolls were leading into the halftime,
Really
but I talked to a couple of Trolls guys actually, and they said they was following in my pod last episode, and they said, "Hey, what Martin said is true. We do want to go down to Kristiansand in the semi. We do want to beat the Kristiansand Gladiators for the chance to go to the championship game." So they just after halftime they just decided to lose and let Eidsvoll have a comeback.
Is that what they said, or you're saying this?
Obviously, I hope they didn't agree for it. That would have been crazy though.
Could seem that way though. Just thinking of kind of the movie finish to the season. That is the perfect finish for the Trolls if they can go down to Kristiansand, take the win, and then meet Eidsvoll. Instead of meeting Eidsvoll in Bøen for the semi, they meet Eidsvoll at home at Jordal. Probably thousands of people there. I'm really excited to see the turnout if that happens. Yeah. I think that would be a crazy game.
I think
that's the dream scenario for the Trolls, I think.
Yeah, if the Trolls get to the championship game, big win for the Federation for growing the sport. I'm not saying anything bad about Kristiansand, but Kristiansand wouldn't have the traveling fans that Trolls would have for that game. And same with Eidsvoll.
True.
That's going to be a huge game if it's Trolls versus Eidsvoll in the championship game. Woo, it's going to be huge. And we saw...
It's going to be noisy,
and we saw how tight they can play. Like Trolls was leading in the first half. They came out was leading 12-0 in the first second quarter there, and then ISOL just started to score, and then they went into halftime with a little bit of momentum, and they just kept building on it, and they ended the game 21-12. Did not allow any points for the Trolls in the second half. Even though Trolls were close, they fumbled the ball at the 1 yard line with a mishandled snap, who bounced through the.
I saw that.
It kind of bounced through the D line, so the safety behind the D line, because everybody was thinking quarterback sneak, right? So everybody, both the D line, O line, linebacker, running back, quarterback, was like colliding, and then the ball bounced behind them, and the safety actually got it behind the. But actually, I have the clip here. We can take a look at it right now.
Oh yeah, throw it up.
Yes, yeah. Look at this. The ball bounces, and then safety Jonathan Olsen gets it on the back there. Did you see it?
Yeah, so it bounced past the O line, like it bounced right into it's into Eidsvoll's hands.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like it bounced through the O line and D line. Linebacker there.
Yeah, right through the D line's legs too. Or linebacker, yeah.
And Jonathan just steals it away from Elias' hands for the recovery and touchback actually. So I think they were like at the 1 yard line when that happened. Pretty close.
Yeah. And that's a heads-up play by the DB there to pay attention to the ball, because it's like you saw, everyone on that play is so keyed in at the center, at the line of scrimmage, at the quarterback. And when that ball popped out, it's like no one knew the ball was out, it seemed like.
Yeah,
I guess the QB must have known, but other than him.
Yeah, right. Like the O line and D line, I don't think they know at that moment. They were just stopping the play, and then Elias and Jonathan was the only one who actually saw it, and then of course Willem knew because he didn't have the ball. And
yeah, exactly.
But I'll say
what was the score at that point?
I'll say this: a lot happened that game that could have gone in the Trolls' favor, but it just didn't. For example, you know what? I'm just gonna, since you're here, Andreas, I'm just gonna do this right now. We're gonna talk about it. All right? I'm gonna put on my reffing hat, and I know you're a part-time ref too, right?
That is true. I reffed one game this season. I was supposed to ref next weekend too, but I got news that the game at Jordal this weekend, U17 Kristiansand versus Trolls, is cancelled apparently.
All right.
So I will not be reffing that one after all.
That sucks. All right, so we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna go. There is a good call, bad call that we gotta talk about, man. And this one was a little bit what the fuck. It was the 4th down. Let me just remove this again. 4th down. I called it on the stream. I said, direct snap to Atle Holland looked really tempting here. I said it right before the snap came. And obviously they did go with a direct snap to Atle Holland, as you can see there. And what do you see right there?
Ooh. That is close.
There is down.
It's hard.
Right
there. Yeah, he's down. What was the call? I think he got it.
No. Way short. Look close, right?
You think?
Look close. Yeah. We take another look with a little bit zoom on it. Definitely down. Oh, let me take it back. He's down there, right?
The chain's maybe just past the 41. The way it's looking for me, I feel like if the chain is exactly at the 41, and you look at the hash, I feel like he just made it to the hash. But I guess the chain is just in front of that again in that case.
But okay, so I'm thinking this is a first down. I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah, I think that's a first down too. I think he, like I say, I think he's at the hash.
Spot.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Take it back to the 2, where it was down. The spot they gave him. Terrible spot, right?
Bad. Of course, the referees in this game don't have the advantage of an instant replay and a slow-mo and stopping it like we do. But based on what I see, I thought he made it to the hash, and yeah, right. That's a rough spot for the Trolls on that one.
I mean, we haven't done good call, bad call a lot this year, and when we have done it, I think actually it's been we favored good call a lot. Like a lot of the times, it's been a good call, but this time we gotta say bad call. We gotta say bad call, right?
Yeah, we might have to. It's hard, the refs. It's not an easy job. I know this now. Before I took the course for reffing, I was always complaining about the refs. I think that's what a common thing for players and fans. But once I got out there on the field, I realized reffing is not an easy job. So really tough call for the ref there to get that spot. And unfortunately for the Trolls, I think they got unlucky on that one.
Like you said, we wanna point this out. Usually I say this before we take any good call, bad call, but I'm gonna say right now, we don't wanna blame the refs. Like, we know they're doing their best, and their work is hard. I've been a ref, you are a ref. Like you said, it's hard. Those small details, the inches and the yards, like, you got to get everything right, and you don't have the instant replay. So we respect the ref. We don't want to hang them out or do anything like that. But we just want to have a second view and maybe just take a second to look at a play once again and decide then if it's a good call or bad call. And usually it's been a good call. Like, I've been leaning heavy on the ref side this year, but that right there, not a good call. All right, you want to go? You want to look at a few?
Yeah, unfortunately, the refs there don't have the benefit of the replay. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Because I had a few ones lined up for today, and the second one is an interception. Michael scrambling, and I don't know what he's doing, but he's trying to pass the ball to whoever is there. But it's Atle, catches it down.
Nice catch. Atle's a big dude. He got low for that one.
Bro, at the game, I thought this was maybe an incomplete. I was expecting it to be an incomplete, but looking at the replay, that ball, you can see the shadow underneath the ball. It's not touching the ground.
That's true.
It's not. It's good.
No, that is just a really good heads-up play and good reaction speed to get down there. But it's exactly like you say. You see the shadow from the ball.
Yeah.
And this was called the interception, yeah?
Yeah, it was. That was a good call.
Good call by the ref.
Yeah. Let's keep this rolling. The last one here, boom.
Oof.
Good hit, knocks the ball loose. Usually, that's something the refs would call a flag on, right?
Yeah, let me see it again.
Yeah, come here, slow motion.
Yeah, that's yeah, you definitely have a good argument to throw a flag on that one.
But same time, he's not leaning with his helmet at all. He's really trying to avoid with the helmet, going in the shoulder. And also, we don't see his hand from this angle, but I'm pretty sure the hands, because the ball is caught right there, right? I'm pretty sure his hands is also like going for the ball, really. Sigurd just catches it right, and then, of course, when that happens, he's going to lower the shoulder.
He does hit him shoulder first, no question about that.
Yeah, I think this was a clean hit. And I want to give
when you put it in slow-mo, I think that's a perfect hit by the DB. Yeah. The first round, I was like, oh yeah, could have been a call, but his shoulder is what hits first, and really he gets his helmet in front, and of course that's Sigurd would be their number one. He can't stop his direction, but it's his helmet that hits the back of the DB's helmet there, it looks like.
Yeah,
it looks like the DB did a really good job to lead in with his shoulder there.
Yeah.
Beautiful play, honestly.
Because I want to say kudos to the refs to not throw the flag here.
Oh, yeah. Because in full speed, that looks like you could definitely throw a flag. But when you slowed that down, it's clear that it isn't. So really good call by the ref there. That is not an easy call.
Obviously, Jonathan, the safety, could have gone lower, for sure. And maybe put his helmet more at the ball. But I think when he was going for the ball, he was going for the ball too. So I think it was impossible for him to adjust that quickly. And he just made the best out of it by turning the shoulder away from Sigurd and making it a very clean hit.
I think so. And of course, that's had he gone in with his helmet, that's a hit that would have been legal a couple of years ago. So to be able to adjust, and it's like his instincts are taking over. He's on his way in head first, and he's like, oh, I can't do that. So he gets his head out the way, goes shoulder first. I think that's a great play.
Yeah. Happy you agree. Okay, the last one here, Andreas. Touchdown, right? You saw the DB? Look at the DB. He's pointing at the ball. He's like, hey, didn't you see that? Look at this.
Right.
Catches it. Boom.
Right.
Punches the ball out.
1, 2.
We got another replay on it, right? I think. No. Well, let me just slow it down for you then. All right. Catches it. One feet is down.
Yeah.
Second and third.
Definitely possession. But where does he cross the goal line?
Oh, he's already in the end zone.
Is he past the goal line now? Yeah, he's in the end zone, of course. Oh, yeah, that's right. So, yeah, catch. No doubt to me. That's
all
3 steps.
All right.
But it's close.
Well, it was called a touchdown.
Like, as a DB, I understand it's close. But that's,
Yeah.
Perfect example of a close play where he gets the 3 steps, like, where it's actually a catch. Because those can be close.
It's clearly 3 steps. He got 3 feet inbounds. Usually you only need 1, but when it's when you're talking about knocking the ball out, it's a little bit, isn't it? Don't they use the call football move or something like that? Or
they do talk about a football move, and in my opinion, that football move is like he's turning upfield, and of course he's in the end zone. So how many? He's not going to start juking people. But if there was no DB in the picture and he got those same steps, caught the ball, took 3 steps, and dropped it because he knows he's in the end zone, it would have been an obvious touchdown. So I think also a good call there by the ref.
Yeah.
There's some tough calls in that game.
So, 1 bad call and 3 good calls. I think that's pretty okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We
got to get the video reviews going, though. For future seasons, that would be a big help for the referees, I think, because it's unfortunate when in a big game like that has a playoff seeding implication and everything, that we don't have a chance to take a look at it.
Yeah, unfortunately,
I think the refs would agree with us on that first call.
Unfortunately, we will not have video reviewed in the playoffs or the championship game this year, even though I was trying to build on it from the last championship game. We had it. And it worked perfectly. We scored a touchdown because of it. ISOL did. So, or I say we scored because I feel like I scored that touchdown because it was my video review, But
that was the challenge on the 12th man on the field, yeah?
We didn't have the angle. Every camera angle, you could not see if the player was inbounds or not when he.
Based on how you're saying it, it almost sounds like it was on purpose now.
The touchdown.
You're like, I contributed to that Eidsvoll touchdown. I know you're an Eidsvoll homer.
I feel like
I know us Vikings guys were pretty upset about that one.
No, but
and
obviously,
from what I've heard, there were 12 guys on the field, but it wasn't on the angle. And it wasn't relevant to the play. That's the thing. He was on his way off the field. He's not making an attempt to play football. It's like, that half step, does it matter? Not really. But I do think he was on the field.
And I think something happened that play that nobody expected, and that was the coach's challenge flag. We didn't talk about that at all in the production meeting, and then Derek Mann just threw out the red flag, like, no, have a review, challenge it, and it kind of forces the federation, the production, to have a review, and all the camera angles we had, it was like 3 we could look at, and none of them could show if it was inbounds or unbounds. So when it wasn't a flag in the beginning, they couldn't just call a flag on something they couldn't see. So yeah, it is how it is.
It is. I don't even know how that works with reviews. I've never really seen that in the NFL either, like challenging penalties. I didn't know you could do that. I thought you could only really challenge the spot, or if it's a catch, or like turnover, stuff like that.
No idea that was gonna happen at all. It was funny though. It was funny. Let's talk a little bit about the second game here before Jørgen comes on. We're up to 19% on power, by the way, so we're in the safety zone.
Oh, nice! We are going upwards now.
Good news. Good. We started the podcast with 0% power on my recording equipment, so that was a great start. The second game, the second game was Glads and Starfighters, where Glads won 47-6, and Glads looked back to form. Starfighters still used a backup quarterback, and Stian Vahet was the one stepping in this game. And what can you say about that game? You were there, you commented that game.
It was a fun game. It was a really fun game, and I said it multiple times during the broadcast that, like, even though the score isn't that even, this has been a fun game to watch because it was so many highlight plays, and really from both teams. Lillestrøm had a lot of really nice plays as well. They just didn't really manage to complete their drives. Some turnover on downs. Couldn't really get it into the end zone, but some really nice plays. And I think Stian Vahet, you mentioned, he looked really good. He was a fun guy to watch at quarterback, and kind of a lot of the plays looked a bit more wildcat. The one play they did score on, which was a QB keep, it was a fourth and half a yard, I'll say, and on the 37-yard line, I believe. And everyone's keyed in on a dive up the middle, and he just keeps it, sneaks outside, and runs untouched 37 yards into the end zone. It was such a nice looking keep play. And he's got that open field speed. So once he got out there, it looked nice.
I saw that.
One player who I hadn't seen before, you go ahead.
Yeah, I saw that touchdown, and I liked the way he just looked like he just saw the hole and just exploded up for the touchdown on that play. I'm going to post a reel about that play later this week. So it was a nice looking play.
Oh, yeah, do that. I was shouting. I know I got loud on the commentary there when that happened. I got so pumped. It was a really nice play to watch.
Yeah.
QB keeps are nice because they're not really. It's not a complicated play at all, but that's like the mental strategy of football. It's not a complicated concept. It's just like they know we're going to the middle. Let's go outside. They took a timeout, talked about that, and beautiful play call.
Yeah. Did you said something about a player you didn't know about before, right?
Yeah. This Ryan on the Glads, number 30, Ryan Bulgare, maybe?
Yeah,
I believe he's from France. In Norwegian, I say Bulgare, but Bulgare, I think is correct. He looked nice. Was this his first game for Kristiansand?
It was. No. It was not the first game. He was. He played the first game. I think it was his third game, actually. Third game. He played the two games against Eidsvoll. And then he played that game. That was the only game he really finished, though. But he looked good. 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns, and he had so many yards per carry. I don't know if you have stats for him, if there were stats from that game, but it was. He must have had over 100 yards because he had 11 or 12 or maybe 15 carries, and all of them, it felt like, went for 8 or 9 or more.
Yeah.
He has a patience that you don't often see in Norway. It's that's one of my. I'm of course a former offensive lineman, and that's one of my things with Norwegian running backs is they're not always so patient to find the gap. They just they get the ball in their hands and it's like you're trying to get in the end zone, so they just start running. He looked really good because the holes weren't there right away. It seemed like a lot of the plays were designed to be maybe up the 2 gap or the 1 gap, and he would just wait a bit and bounce it out. And it was like change of directions that he was deciding himself, just always finding the gap. And as soon as he was there, right through. And on first contact, he always got like 3 extra yards running the guy over. He was a really nice running back to watch. I love to watch like a classic, like an old school running back, and that's how he was. He could do it all. It was cool.
Yeah,
I met a couple of the Trolls guys at Frogner yesterday at the U17, and I said it to the Trolls guys, like that guy's tough. You gotta keep handles on him. All their running backs looked good though. Chapman looked good, and they brought in a guy late in the game, Huang, I believe, and he also looked good, like 10 yards per carry on 4 or 5 carries and a touchdown.
Yeah. It's gonna be exciting to watch them go against Trolls next week, or not next weekend, but in the semi, the 8th of June, down in Kristiansand. That's gonna be a good game.
That's gonna be a really good game.
All right, we have a guest on, and it's an important guest for the football environment in Norway. It's sportslig leder I NAIF, Jørgen Benestad-Johansen. Welcome to the chat, Jørgen. To the pod, I mean.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Martin. Happy to be here.
So, Jørgen, sitting from the federation kind of perspective of the league and the season so far in the Eliteserien, how do you think it's been so far in the when you recap the regular season?
Well, I think it's been an exciting season. We may have wanted to see a little bit more closer game in some of the games, but still, there's four contenders. They're doing a really good job and giving us exciting football, and they have some exciting players. From my side, it's also exciting that we have been able to put the product out on our new streaming platform, Knife TV, and also gotten some stats up for the season. So some of the things that we're moving forward with has always been exciting. That four teams going, it's a little short. We know we have a better team in Oslo Vikings, or at least one of the top teams. Oslo Vikings playing in the Swedish Super Series and doing okay there. And so, but all in all, I think it shows a good product, and the teams have been fighting out really, really well. And the really nice and positive surprise, of course, is the Vålerenga Trolls returning to the top level and doing so well.
Yeah, and me and Andreas, we talked about a little bit earlier about how huge it would be for Vålerenga to win the semifinal and then go to the playoff or go to the championship game and play that on their first year back. The first year they have Jordal back, and the championship game is there. For that would be huge for them as a club, but also for you as a federation, because that would be like a massive attraction. Like all the people in Oslo would want to go and see that, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wish for Vålerenga Troll's success. It's the oldest club we have. They've existed since the early 80s. They've had some really rough years with the construction of the new Jordal Amphi, losing their field to it. They've come back with the field a year ago. They've started using it really, really well. They've done some good stuff in the organization around the board and how they run things. They got junior football, they got women's football, and they're doing really well. And the big question mark was how was the senior team going to look after, Kasper Tveter came back and took the head coach role, and what a surprise, and not to mention a positive road and travel it's been for them. And everybody wish for them to be successful. And right now, I don't think we can have a better motivation for the Vålerenga Trolls as the organization, or Vålerenga Trolls as a senior team, to go and fight with the Gladiators down south in order to win the spot and play for their home crowd as the championship final is being held at the Jordal Idrettspark. So that would just be a super, super icing on the cake and a really happy moment for everybody. I'm pretty sure that Kristiansand wants to think otherwise, but it definitely would be kind of a Cinderella story coming back from where they were just a year and a half ago.
Yeah, obviously this is just wishful thinking for not for Glad's guys, of course, but for kind of just a Cinderella story, like you said. Everybody, I'm a sucker for an underdog story, and the Trolls coming back. It's a grade A underdog story, if you ask me. So that's all it is. But let's talk a little bit about the championship weekend, because you guys got a big plan. Like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, something is going on at the Jordal.
Yes. First of all, moving the championship final to mid-June, or at least earlier than we've been used to when we had it over summer, gave us an opportunity that we didn't want to pass on, and that was the fact that school is still in for the youngsters. So we were able to do the U17 NM final on the same day when everything's rigged and everything's ready to go, and the limelight and everything around the championship Saturday could also be shared by the U17 best two teams. And this is something we thought about really, really early when we decided to, or it opened up for us the possibility to have the final this early. Um, as you also know, we're focusing highly at the federation level on introducing and starting up a flag football in Norway. So we want to use this weekend to also make a little bit of a splash with flag football. So what we're doing is we're hosting a tryout on the Friday night, the night before the NM final. We'll host a tryout for any athlete in all of Norway in any sport to come and show their skills in order to get looked at for a national flag football team. Uh, as you know, flag football will enter the Olympics in 2028, and our strategic documents and our strategic meetings has said that our goal is to put a women's team and a men's team in Olympics, and that means we have 4 years on us. Our first stepping stone is the European Championships in flag football in late summer 2025, and we are starting now. So there will be a national team athlete tryout for any athlete, any sport on Friday, the 14th of June, from 6 to 9 o'clock at Jordal, and it will also include hopefully as many as possible of our existing American football players, and also perhaps maybe some football players that just hung up their cleats but are still moving and still able to go really fast with the ball. And we'd like them to come out, and the tryout will end in a mini tournament where we take all the contestants of the tryout and put them together in teams and play mini flag football games towards the end to get it on video and to see the people that we can scout on film later on from the tryout. So that should be a really exciting event on Friday. It's also really important to say that we are doing our best, and especially the Wolverine Trolls are doing a really good job at trying to grow women's tackle football, and they have been playing in the Swedish series with their women's team. And on Sunday, the 16th, at Jordal, they will have their final game of the season. So it'll be their series finale. They'll head up against Swedish superpowers, Costa Crusaders, which will be a really tough matchup for them. But we want to use the NM final and the NM weekend as a way of promoting all of our sports, and especially also then the women's tackle football on Sunday. They will kick off on Sunday the 16th at 1500 or 3 o'clock p.m. So be sure to catch a lot of football at Jordal this weekend with, of course, the NM final and center stage on the 15th on the Saturday. And I'd like to say also, since you gave me the word and you asked me to come on the podcast, we have revamped a little bit our American Football Hall of Fame. We have some existing members in the Hall of Fame that form our committee on nominations and selections. And there will be 2 new members inducted into our Hall of Fame at a ceremony that will happen at halftime under the men's NM final on Saturday the 15th. So be sure to come out and cheer for our best. It has been said that our group of Hall of Famers are going to be present. They're going to be our guests flipping the coin before the final on the coin toss. And they'll do the ceremonies by themselves with the new inductees at halftime. So it should be an exciting way to see what is new, what is happening in the new of American football and flag football and women's tackle, and also some of the more distinguished gentlemen of the past are going to be inducted in our Hall of Fame. So we're really excited about the entire weekend and what it brings for us.
Yeah, are we gonna get like a heads up who the nominees are, or they're going to be fully announced at the game? Like we're not going to know who they are, but I'm guessing they are going to know because they're going to be at the game, obviously.
Yes, the two new inductees to the Hall of Fame has been made aware of their selection.
That's awesome.
We will not disclose who they are until halftime at the game. However, we will do some posting on social media saying that we will have a Hall of Fame ceremony at the games. So there should be some postings that lets them all know that this will happen. Also, I'd like to say that we did form a new award this year. It's an award given to volunteers in the sport that may not yet be having spent time as long as those that would be inducted in the Hall of Fame, but that has given us significant contributions. And this award has been named in Egil Noren's memory. Our first Hall of Fame candidate and our first Hall of Fame member who passed away just a few years back. And we've created an award in his name called Egil Noren's Minnepris. And it's given to volunteers that have done a significant job. We will have a ceremony for the Egil Noren's Minnepris a little earlier, just after the teams leave the field and get ready to get back on the field. We'll have a ceremony on that at Jordal on Saturday the 15th, just prior to the senior men's final.
Yeah, that's a worthy name of an award like that. Like kind of just like Eidsvoll has the Sean Sully Award, which is also a junior player who passed away when he was just about to step onto the seniors and then become a champion with the old guys. So that's a respectful name, and I'm happy to see who gets that award. That's always fun to put a light on the people who's contributing, even though it's not money or anything else involved with it. They just contribute, and as a sport like we're kind of a niche sport, so we need people like that. That's for sure. We need the normal guys to step up and do a part.
Well, we have so many people in behind the scenery kind of thing, behind the players, behind the coaches, in the boardrooms, as team managers, equipment managers, parents that are helping out. There are so many people in and around our teams that and they do have a spot in the Hall of Fame, but the Hall of Fame hangs very high, and it takes a long time for someone to be nominated. However, we have some people that do significant things over several years and are mainstays with some of these clubs, and the clubs wouldn't exist or at least be as successful if it wasn't for these people. So we have a few really good nominations this year, and I'm sure we're gonna give the prize away to some very, very well deserving people.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That really deserves to be put out in the light.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's so many. I can think of me when I'm traveling around from team to team. I can see so many, what you would say in Norway, like ildsjeler, and each team have a few of them, and I know for sure the team would not be the same without them. So that's good to put a light on those people that are around Norway. So just to talk a little bit more about the championship game, because that's a double header. We got first the juniors at 12 o'clock, and then the seniors. It's going to be a late game. Starts at 5 o'clock. Not expected to be finished around 8, 9. So might be the latest game in Norway's history, or maybe I'm forgetting the Friday Night Lights that used to be going on.
Well, it's kind of if we want to make an all-day football event of it. And usually what we've learned over the years is that Oslo is the place to be, is to host these final games. Jordal Idrettspark looks amazing. We tried it out at the Nordic Championships for the U17 national teams last year, and they did a great job of hosting us. The thing is that 15th of June, you can get a really sunny day, and people want to be at Åkerbrygge or at Huk or anywhere else during the day. But hopefully, by the time the afternoon comes around, they'll show up Yodal and cheer for their teams and to watch the highest level of football we're offering. And hopefully, of course, a lot of people will show up for the U17 game. I'm sure they will. It may not be the exact same crowd. Hopefully, it is. But there will be admissions. There will be, you have to buy a ticket to get in there. But if you're 18 and younger is free admissions at both the final games. So they're any youngster that wants to come check out football and see what it is. Get a feel for what either the U17 game is or the men's team game is. It's free admission for those 18 and younger. So that should be good. And again, it is the lightest period of the year. The as close as we get in Oslo to the midnight sun should be around June 15th. So we're not worried about the lighting and it being late and we get to use the lights at the stadium, I'm sure. So hopefully everything will be in a good frame and something that we can all be excited about.
Yeah, and Jural is just a perfect field for the curious, like you said, because everywhere around, or at least on the back and the side, everywhere is elevated. So everywhere, when you walk around the amphi, when you walk in the park around it, and the skate park, all eyes are on the field. So I remember the game we had there with the Trolls and the Lillestrøm, where it was a kind of a blowout. Trolls won 50-0, but I'm guessing it was minimum 2,000 people that was not in the stadium watching the game at one point throughout the day. So
Yeah.
definitely a good game, a good place to have a championship game for grow the sport and just get all the eyes on the field. So I love it. I love to be. I would love to be back at Ural. I love that field. So let's talk a little bit about flag football, because we're gonna have the scrimmage or the tryout on Friday, and it's gonna be hopefully a lot of familiar faces. If you're a junior guy or a senior guy, take this as a real challenge. Go to sign up, because it's a sign up, right? You have to sign up to be a part of it. And
yeah, we will shortly have every available channel you can reach us on website, social media. The links to signing up will be there. There's a mini admission to sign up. I think it's going to be 50 kroners. It's just to get the how should we put it, the that investment from people that they're actually going to come and sign up, and they'll get a T-shirt from the tryout for doing it and taking part. And again, we want to see the crop, the best crop there is of American football players, and we want to prove that those players and those athletes are as good as it gets, and that they can capture these spots on our national team for the men's. For the women's, we really don't have that many female players out there, so we're going to need to go out and reach out, outside of American football community, and we're looking for handball players, basketball players, track athletes, soccer players, anyone that is athletic, anyone that wants to run on a field and play a sport and has an Olympic dream. Because basically what it is that this, Martin, about 10, 11 years ago, Norway entered flag football European championships or world championships, and there were 16 nations present, and our team ended up in the mid range with that,
12,
and
11, 12.
Yeah, 12th place, 11th or 12th place, and this team didn't have very much time to be put together. Didn't have that much time to practice or get ready. And the traditions we have in Norway with sports and the way we have been able to work with our national teams in tackle football over the past couple of years has given us a lot more experience in planning these kind of events and getting the optimal results out of it. So I'm pretty confident that we can do really well once we put our mind to it, and once we do get our best players out there. And if we can add some really exciting talent, athletic talent from other sports that have the eye-hand coordination to pull those flags or to pull those balls out of the air and make the jumps and the leaps at the right spots and the spins and the juke moves and whatever, it could be really exciting. And I think that Norway as a handball nation, especially in the women's side, could have some really exciting athletes that may be at a very high level in handball, but maybe just quit or are thinking about quitting or have changed their life situation, gone to studies or whatnot, but they played at a really high level. They could do awesome at flag football on an international scene. So there's opportunities here, and we would like to see that. So come out on June 14th and get the first tryouts to move Norway as a national team with flag football into the Europeans, and then also on the road to LA in 2028.
Yeah, and I remember that I was a part of the national team in 2012, and like you said, we didn't have too much time. It was maybe 2 camps, and then we were off to Göteborg to face the best of the best. But I feel like we did a pretty good job. We beat Sweden. I mean, that was #1 goal. Beat Sweden, and we did it. So we went home happy, even though we didn't get a trophy that weekend. And it was fun.
Well, I mean, there's one thing I know is that we will not do well if we don't do it. So we got to try. And building a team with the Norwegian color or with the flag on the chest is a great way of also informing the nation about our great sport. Not only flag, but also that American football tackle exists in more eyes than the few that know it from today. So hopefully we can use this, and that's kind of also what we're doing with our NM final and trying to put these things together on the same weekend, is that we kind of want to use the surge or the excitement or maybe some of the media coverage we're getting to tag along and add other things and present our sport and our clubs and our volunteers that are doing such a great job in the best way we can.
Yeah, and like you said, flag football is a great gateway not drug, but gateway sport to get introduced to American football in the big picture, of course. But flag football alone is a great sport. Like, I love it. It takes all the fun and fast and the quick element from American football. Same time you're learning the basics of just getting down, tackling, stuff like this, just without the physical part.
Yeah, I've never really experienced that. No one that hasn't had fun playing flag football. Whether you're in a school class to people that never tried it before, or you do it with the old timers in the club at a Friday night with the former players, or you just do it at a company retreat with people that have never tried before. People have fun with it, and it's really exciting. It's tactical. It demands your teamwork, and like you said, it's a very good gateway. And one of the things that we've learned over the years with sports and growth of sports is that those sports in Norway that are able to grow and they're able to go past other sports and have a reach are the sports that are there for kids when they are younger. When they come out to school and they're 7, 8, 9 years old, 10, 11, 12 years old, that's the years that a lot of kids try a lot of sports, and that's where we need to make parents aware of American football. And I don't think it's always that smart to present to mothers and fathers of 7 or 8 year olds that they should go out and put helmets on and do tackle football. So I'd rather see if we can build a community of American football clubs that also offer tackle football in order to reach out to families and kids of younger age. And we're also having a forceful plan to go out and work with large fleridrettslags all over Norway to incorporate flag football as an extra activity for their members, as a fun thing across other sports teams, or just as another sport for fun, or even for serious adaptation towards the IFAF game and the Olympic dream that we're trying to sell pretty soon here on June 14th.
I know you take it seriously, because I seen the plan for next year, and the NM finale for the flag football is already in the script. So I know it's in the works. So I'm really looking forward to see the growth of flag football in Norway. It's gonna be great, because, like you said, is the best sport to get kids involved. You can introduce it into schools. You can have just fun in between teams when and you don't have to risk the same kind of injuries and stuff like that. So it's just huge to involve that in Norway. I mean, it's working in Denmark. They have a league. It's working in Sweden. They have a league. So why not here in Norway too, right? So let's go. I'm all in. All right.
Great.
Thank you for coming by, Jørgen. I thought that was a good chat. We touched in a couple of important topics that's right around the corner. The championship game, flag football is starting to grow in Norway. So I wish you the best of luck moving forward, and I'll see you maybe in the semi in the Kristiansand.
For sure, we'll see each other on the field. I will just really quickly remind both me and you about the fact that we do have two focuses on the tackle national team in August. We're going to have a camp, which is a development camp for 14 to 17-year-olds with the national team staff. That's August 9th, I believe it is, on the Friday to Sunday, August 9th. And then we have the next weekend there. It's kind of a startup camp for a men's national tackle football team, national team there. It's like a startup camp. The sign up is going out these days. So any player that want to come out and show the interest for the national team, develop themselves as players, they will really get an exciting coaching staff ready there in August, also at Jordal Idrettspark. So please check out our website and our social medias and look to sign up for that if you're a serious football player and you want to come out and support and play for your country.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, national team camp, but also a development camp for those who just want to grow as a football player. So sign up if you're interested into that.
Thank you very much, Martin.
See you in 2 weeks down in Kristiansand, and that's going to be an exciting game. I'm excited for it.
We will.
All right, guys. Sigurd is calling me right now, so I'm gonna just answer. Yo, Sigurd, you're on the pod. What's up?
What's up, man?
So, how you doing, man? We got Andreas here taking your spot. How you doing, Sigurd? You been sleeping?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it.
Sleeping? It's 3:30.
Graveyard shifts, bro.
Ah, fair.
Yeah, I know. You was home at 5 or 6, 7 a.m.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I just woke up.
All right. All right. We're just about, me and Andreas. We're just about to take 3 ballers here. Who are your nominees?
3 ballers.
Putting you right on the spot.
Nah, I ain't got no one. You can figure that out.
Yeah. All right. What do you think about the weekend, bro? Well, you're gonna get Kristiansand. No, you're gonna go. You're gonna get Starfighters up in Bern. How do you feel about that?
It's gonna be fun, man. We're not gonna get Kristiansand in Bern. We're going to meet Lillestrøm.
That's what I said.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Kristiansand. No, it's gonna be fun, bro. It's an exciting game. Hopefully Kevin is healthy, and Lillestrøm has all their players healthy and back. I know that Eidsvoll is fortunate with some of the players that we have ready. So it's gonna be fun. And not to mention, man, I'm back, so it's gonna be my first game back again. So it's gonna be a fucking blast, bro. I'm excited.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna call you back when it's the time for our predictions for Patreon, Sigurd. All right, you ready for that?
All right, yeah.
All right, so talk to you later, bro.
Yeah,
bro. All right, for those who don't know, we got a competition, me and Sigurd. We got 250 NOK up in the air. Whoever can guess the most correctly scores throughout the season, and so far it's tied going into the we don't know yet. We haven't I haven't recapped week 6, but we were tied going into week 6 at least. So head to our patreon.com/AMsportsTV if you wanna be a part of that. It's fun. I mean, I think one of the weeks ago, Sigurd had only 2 points, 1 point for each team away from a correct score. He was accurate.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you guys are scoring points too.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
All right, so we're going to do, like we said, we're going to head into 3 ballers. Andreas, you ready for that? Your first 3 baller segment.
I'm looking forward to it. I know this is one of the fan favorites.
That's
so
for
it's
sure.
cool to be a part of Ballers.
All right, let's head into it then. I'm gonna do the first one here, Andreas, and this is the first time we're gonna feature a full unit. It's not gonna be a guy. It's not gonna be a player. It's gonna be unit, and that's gonna be the Glad's defense. I mean, they were ball hogs that game. I think they had 4 or 5 total interceptions. They had a forced fumble and another one who we could actually look for a good call, bad call. It was called down, and they were just shut down for the Starfighters. They're delivering hard hits when it matters and just stealing the ball away every chance they took, and they really shut down the Starfighters. Like Andreas said earlier, Starfighters offense was jamming. They were getting yards, but just these turnovers just kill them. And look at this. That's the number. That's the 4th one or 5th one right there. You see in the row. Like Starfighters could not get anything going in the air or the ground because Glads just took the ball away all the time.
Like you say, they were ball hawks out there. The defensive line got a good rush, and the linebackers and the safeties and all of the DBs were just flying around. Yeah. It was a hard defense to move the ball against.
Yeah. So first ballers of the week is the full defensive crew of the Glads, man. They did a phenomenal job shutting down the Starfighters. Even though it's a backup quarterback, we're gonna still give them that because they did a really good job. You still gotta cover the guys, So.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna take the second one here because we're saving the top baller for Andreas here. And the second guy, he's a guy, he didn't win the game, but he was a standout guy from the Trolls, and that's Sondre Lunde. Look at that, like 70 yards grab right there, or 50 at least. I mean, he was doing it all day for them. He was clearly Wilhelm's top guy. He had a lot of receptions, like 5, 6 or 7 receptions, even more pass attempts to him. And he had a touchdown, and he had an interception on defense. So he was playing offense as a wide receiver. He was playing defense as a DB, and he was playing special team as a kick returner. So look at this, stealing the ball away and taking it for a good return. Sondre Lunde was all over the field for the Trolls, and he was definitely a big reason to the success they had. He was doing a really, really good job. Look at this, making tackle for loss even. Creeping up as a corner, just nowhere for Tor to go. I think he was definitely the player of the game for me, looking at that game, because I still didn't really have a guy that stood out too much. Michael Hall had a couple of rushing touchdowns and a couple of passing ones, but Sondre Lunde is the clear winner of who was the baller of that week. For that game at least, because he was everywhere all day doing everything with the chances he got. We don't have stats yet.
Well deserved.
We don't have stats yet.
You must be no stats. he must be putting a lot of work in the off season too, because to play 3 ways like that and be explosive, returning the ball at receiver and on defense, no breaks, that is impressive. That is not a lot of people can do that at any level.
All right, you ready for the last one? Go for it.
Yes, sir. The last one here is a guy I've already mentioned today, Ryan Bulgaire. And now we got some highlights from him. He looked so nice. I've already talked quite a bit about him, but he just could not be stopped. And it's like I said, the patience he has. He waits for the gap, so he's always finding a gap and hitting it. An open field, he's fast between the tackles. You saw it right there. You saw 2 juke moves just for the first 2 yards, finding space. He ran so nicely. It was a pleasure to watch him play. I'm really excited to see how he's going to look in the playoffs, because he really got it rolling this game. Like, he could not be stopped. A well-deserved number 1 for Ryan Bulgaire. Baller of the week.
Baller of the week. He got. We don't have stats yet, like I said, but he topped 100 yards minimum, I think, and he had 3 rushing touchdowns. So a clear winner for the baller of the week. His second baller of the week. The only player who got baller of the week, and he only played only 3 games in Norway so far. So, I mean,
that's crazy.
He's gonna be a name that we're gonna talk a lot about in the playoff, I think. Ryan Bulgaire. Congrats, Ryan. We don't have your T-shirt yet, but you're gonna get it soon.
Now you got to get him 2. Got to get him 2 now. And having a running back like that in there really opens up the whole offense. Like we've talked a lot, or you guys have talked a lot about Aaron Lien, who of course also had a great game, could have been a candidate for this list as well. But having a running back like that, when you got that deep threat already, and it has a great long ball, so you can't stack the box. If you stack the box, they're going to score on you every play. Yeah. So you got to give space, and then you get Bulgaire in there. He makes you stack the box. Okay, we go over top to Liam. So it's I don't know how you stop that offense the way they looked last game.
We're gonna
and Bulgaire, he was a leader.
Because we're gonna talk about the playoff right now.
Oh, nice.
All right, Andreas. We talked about week 6. We had a good recap, and we had the 3 ballers. We had some good call, bad call. I mean, it's been a good episode so far. So let's do the last thing, which is just talk a little bit about the playoff here, and maybe have a couple of predictions about how you think it's going to go down. So we got Eidsvoll versus Starfighters at Bøn, and we got Glads versus Trolls at Kristiansand. Obviously, if you look at the teams, you think Glads versus Trolls is going to be the most iconic and exciting games to watch, because they're just 2 very equal team matching up, and that's the only game where you kind of like both team have a 100% chance to win this game, like 100% chance that both team can take it away. And like I said, Ryan Bulgaire, if he runs like he's been doing, he was doing it against Eidsvoll too, which is a pretty good defense. And but I'm gonna say right here, Trolls defense, they're solid. They're
and that Trolls really front solid. Is nice.
Yeah, and Atle Holland, just a phenomenal tackler, and their D line really, really good. I really hope Eddie Dos Santos is not hurt, because he kind of went down with his shoulder banged up a little bit. I think he came back into the game. I'm not sure, but I hope he's not hurt. And also, I think Trolls is going to get even better for the playoff, because they were missing a lot of guys for Eidsvoll.
Right, I heard that.
So, I mean, that's not an excuse. Glads was missing a lot of guys against Eidsvoll too, and they really didn't do really well. And now Trolls was missing a lot of guys against Eidsvoll, and still kept it a tight game. So I'm really feeling it for the Trolls this game. I think they started the season as a real underdog, but at this game, I don't know who's the underdog right now. I mean, I'm gonna give Glads the favor of this game, because it's an away game, and it's really difficult to play down in Kristiansand.
It is. What do they have this year? They have 1 each against each other?
Glads
1 win?
Both, actually.
They played twice. Glads won both? Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
But I feel like Trolls has becoming a better team.
That's the thing we see with the Trolls. They started the season pretty well. I think the first game was that home game against Eidsvoll, which was a close game as well. But they've just been building and building each week. We see it. Their receiving core is improving. Wilhelm is having an easier time finding them, and I mean their defense has always looked great. That's the key matchup I'm looking forward to seeing: the Trolls front seven and how they stop the running attack that Kristiansand has built together.
And what's really confusing me about making like who's the favorite and stuff this game is because Glads just bombed when they met Eidsvoll. They won. They lost by 40 points, and I don't know how that happened when you got a good team like Glads do. And
that's the thing.
Does those few players that wasn't playing mean that much for the team? I mean, or did Eidsvoll just have such a good game? I have no idea. It's just confusing for me to know who's the better team when Glads won both of the teams matchup between them and Trolls, but they had a terrible game recently against Eidsvoll, so just difficult. Makes it
the Trolls have been looking good. Against Lillestrøm, of course, 2 weeks ago, they really beat on them. And then last week, too, they looked really nice in the first half. There's just some small mental mistakes that messed them up in the second half. But if they play like they did in the first half, I think they can beat any team.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Kristiansand is at least last week, they delivered 2 full halves of football. Even at the end of the game, they were still putting up points. Like it was no stopping the Glads last week. So it's hard to say how you stop them at home next week or 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite that game?
It's really hard, to be honest. Before this weekend, I would have said Trolls. But I both enjoyed watching the Glads play, and I thought they played really well. It is such a toss-up. But being an Oslo boy, knowing some of the guys from the Trolls, I guess maybe they take it by 2 points. But they missed their extra points last game.
Yeah.
And that could hurt them too.
You said something about Jabari was on the roster, right?
I believe so. They had Jabari was on the roster as number 4, and they had number 4. But what confused me is he was in there at the end. So that's what made me wonder, like, is that Jabari or is it, is it someone different? But I'm quite sure, I mean, if the roster is correct, that was Jabari. And if so, he was a beast on defense too. I'm not going to lie. He's a smart football player. We all know that. So he has perfect gap discipline. He's never leaving his assignment, and he's got the guy on his heels every play. I think he had 2 or 3 tackles in the backfield and like 6 total. And he's fast. We know that too. So he, like, once it gets past the line of scrimmage, he's flying around like a linebacker. Huh. So that's a difference maker too. And interesting to see if he goes back to quarterback, in which case it's really hard to plan for Kristiansand when you haven't really seen their complete offense this year.
Yeah, and if they can get Ryan to start moving, I mean, Glads are pretty unstoppable. If they start to roll and get Trolls on the heels, it's gonna be difficult for the Trolls, because what I've seen from the Trolls so far this season is that they're not really the comeback kid, if you know what I mean. If they first get behind, they're not doing any comebacks. They're actually led games, and they've been giving up in the end of the game. So if they are on their heels, they're not coming back the game.
It's very true. It seems that when they're kind of forced to pass, when they don't have all of the options on their offense, when they can't move the ball slowly down the field, because really they're an old school team, like as old school as it gets. So when they can pound the ball down the field and have time to do that, it's hard to stop them. But if you get ahead of them and make them air it out more than they would like to, it's that's the key for the Glads defense. I think it's going to be Glads offense versus Trolls defense in this one, really. Yeah. And I mean, Trolls defense, hard to run the ball against them. I don't know if anyone's put up a lot of yards on the ground against them. So Bulgaria's look nice, but I think the Trolls will. I don't know if he'll look that nice against the Trolls with Eddie Dos Santos and Atle Haaland right up there in the middle. Yeah. That's tough.
I mean, that's one of the biggest part why they had success against Eidsvoll, was that they were really shutting down the run and forcing Eidsvoll to pass. And Michael didn't really have a good game accuracy-wise. I think he had a terrible game accuracy-wise, actually. So, and you could clearly see that Wilhelm had had more time than Michael in the pocket, so he was kind of forced to throw shady balls sometimes. So if they can continue that, I think IJssel has a pretty decent O-line, and Glads has a pretty decent O-line too. But if they can get the pressure on Raimond like they did on Michael, I think they can have really good success against Glads.
I think so too. Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. It's I'm really looking forward to following that one.
Yeah, and the IJssel game at the Bøen. I mean, everybody would say this is a layup, like IJssel's going to win, right? But for the last two minimum, maybe 2.5 games, they haven't had their starting American quarterback, Kevin Doyle, and that matters. That matters a lot when you gotta put other people that are as familiar with the playbook, and also Stian, which is a great playmaker as a wide receiver. You gotta take him away and put him as a quarterback, and now you don't have a good wide receiver in him, or he also play a little bit linebacker. You can't use him there as much. So it really takes a piece of the team away, missing the quarterback when you get to supplement that position. So having Kevin Doyle back is going to make a huge difference for the Starfighters.
If he'll be back though, do you know anything about that? I got the impression that he's maybe out for the year.
You did, huh? I texted
Yeah, but just from some young boys from the team. So could be they don't have the most current information.
All right. I texted him if he was ready for the playoff, and he said, ready to go. But if that meant I'm ready to go as a player or we are ready to go as a team, I don't know. I didn't follow that question up, but I asked him to know if we was playing, and he kind of gave me like the answer could mean he was playing, or it could
it could be either way.
Could be either way.
I know he stepped in at OC last game. He was offensive coordinator, so it could be that's what he means too. Like the team's ready, and I'm ready to call some nice plays.
Mm-hmm.
He does a good job there. I mean, he is a smart football player. Like you can tell just watching him on the field. We saw that the first time we saw Lillestrøm and Bøen. Like a player was trying to get off injured, and it's like, no, sit down. Like we need the timeout. And he knows a lot of football, and he was calling some nice plays. I do hope to see him back on the field, but I'm not as certain that we will.
Yeah, he got that situational awareness, and you definitely need that as an OC.
You really do. We of course saw. I mean, a lot of people, like you say, think this game is a layup, but we saw. It's not far between those two stadiums. So Lillestrøm, they're going to meet up with all their fans and all their energy too. And we saw in Stenterud the first time Eidsvoll, or maybe the second time Eidsvoll and Lillestrøm met. But at least the Lillestrøm home game against Eidsvoll. I mean, Lillestrøm went into the half with a lead.
Yep.
And of course, Doyle was a big part of that, but it wasn't really the offense that I think it was 12-0, maybe 14-0 at halftime. So it was really the defense who was able to step up against Eidsvoll. And if they can do that again, it's going to be a much closer game than people think.
Yeah. It shows you that Starfighters they can, and the thing I really like about Starfighters is that they got the personnel. Like they have a huge roster. They just need to focus on development, and I think it was a good call getting in 2 import players this year, and I really hope that can really elevate the players around them. And we never know, man. Like IJssel could lay an egg in the playoff here. IJssel really could lay an egg in the playoff here. It would be so funny.
Eidsvoll has been having some.
It would be so funny.
It would be.
And pretty good story if Starfighters won their first game of the year in the semifinal, because that's a fairy tale story too. We were talking a little bit about fairy tale story. That Trolls was a little bit of fairy tale story. First year coming back that season, first year having Urdal back, and now get the chance to maybe play at Urdal if they win the semi. It's kind of a fairy tale story for Lillestrøm too.
Yes. Yeah, we got another guest on the pod.
Got another guest on the pod here. How you doing, James? Går det bra? Yeah. Well, I think we can cap it off right here, Andreas. I think we talked a lot about the league and the playoff, and I think it's gonna be exciting, man. And I know I'm super excited for the semifinals coming up.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I think we're gonna see 2 good football games. Everyone's gonna come out firing off, and it's honestly, this is one of the best, most even and most exciting seasons we've had in a long time. It's anyone going into the semis here could take the final.
Yeah,
it's going to be really interesting to watch.
Really feels like that. So before we end, I really want to just say thank you to everybody who reached out to me about me leaving Norway, moving to France this summer. Everybody's been really positive, giving me a lot of love. Everybody has had the mentality that like they're not sad is done or over, but they're happy it happened with AMsports TV, of course. Sure. And I'm just I feel blessed having this opportunity to really work with American football and grow the sport in the way I try to do it. So I want to say thanks to everybody who reached out about that, and yeah, just it's been a blast, and the pod is gonna go on though. The pod is gonna go on. So everybody, thanks for listening to this episode. Help us grow this channel. Sharing is caring, like I always say. And if you want, you can support us on patreon.com/amsportstv. And as always, this podcast has been sponsored or brought to you by Contact Sports. And if you want to get some 10% off the merch from there, use Ballers10. And you got to do it now because that promo code is ending as soon as the season is finished. So you only got a few weeks left, so use it now.
You still got time. Get looking nice for the finals.
Right.
Might not have it by the semis, but by the finals, you're going to be in it, and you're going to be looking nice.
You said it. All right. Thanks for joining with the short notice, Andreas. And
of course. We'll thanks a lot for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. And we'll talk in the semifinals. All right?
Absolutely.
You know the outro? Outro?
I'm not so sure, but I see you're getting ready to salute.
No, it's ball out. Are you ready?
Ball out. All right.
You ready? All right. Bye-bye, guys. Ball out.
Ball.